Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from. Uh, for the returning subscribers, thank you and welcome back. Yes, for those that are new, welcome as well. Feel at home. I'm NCK 2310. For the silent listeners, welcome as well. No disturbances. Lean back and see what I've prepared for you. I hope you've had a nice weekend and the week have started nicely. Those of us that work during the day, I hope your day was good. Mine was good at work, and here we are again. Yes, today I've prepared for you about parents, the Gen Zs and millennium parents, Kenyan, because I'm originally from Kenya and Kenya is my business. Yes, although I usually deal with music, but for many months, for maybe 2 months right now, we've been dwelling more a little bit in Kenyan politics because Kenya is our country. We love our motherland. Yes. So today, what I've prepared for you is talking about parents of the Gen Zs and the millenniums. Well, what can I say? The Gen Zs and millennials of Kenya, they are asking parents like me, for example, and all the other parents of the Gen Zs and the millennials, if we can support them. And how can we do that? First, we have to listen to them, we have to understand them, and then we have to support them. We as parents, Kenyan parents, we have to ask ourselves, why are our youths, why are our Gen Zs and millennials, why are they angry? Why are they going out to the streets? Why are they demonstrating and protesting all here and there? Why? Because a lot of parents don't take that time to ask those questions. They just like, oh, they fear. They just, for example, when they hear their youths are going out there, they're like, oh my God, don't. I don't want to lose you. Oh, they put, they have fear in them, and this is very shocking for me because I'm born in the early 70s. And in the early 70s, it was the case with our parents. They were afraid of opening their mouths. And also, they were afraid when we were growing up that we kids, that they would be assassinated or they would be abducted or something. That's why they were quiet. That's why they were silent. But now we are in 2024. I think it's high time for parents in Kenya, whether you are in Kenya, whether you are out in the diaspora, hey, let's support our youths. Because when we reason out together, we have to understand why our Kenyan youths are so angry. And not only Kenyan youths are angry, we parents as well. We've always, but we were never courageous enough like our youths are to go out there to point out how much we've been fooled as Kenyans, how much the government, I'm not even only generalizing now, because it's been so many governments in Kenya that have been treating us wrongly. They've been stealing public funds. They've been lying to our Kenyan people for years and years and years. Leave alone about our now President Ruto's regime. No, I'm talking of from the first regime of our first president, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Then it came all the way to late Moi. Then it came to Kibaki, late Kibaki. I think it's high time we as parents in Kenya, we start to listen. Because some parents, they don't listen when their youths want to go out there and protest on the streets. They're just like worried and they have fear. They say, hey, don't go. Oh, you'll be killed. Oh, you'll be shot. Oh, you'll be, they don't take time because by the killings of our youths, that was a crime from our Kenyan government or whoever that were killing our children. Because our youths, they didn't have any weapons. They were peaceful. We know that. But we know like what the government used to do. They wanted to create chaos. They sent people with motorbikes to go and disrupt peaceful protests from our Kenyan youths. And so for me, I'm saying as a Kenyan parent, we have to join hands together as all Kenyan parents, whether back home or outside, so that we can support our youths. So we also have to give them an ear. Let us listen. What are they saying? Because there are so many questions which we as parents should ask ourselves. Why are our Kenyan youths angry? Why? What has made them so angry? And then they can tell us this and this and that. And we as parents, we can ask how, if, for example, our Kenyan youth say to us, you know what? There are so many fake projects around. They've been lying to us, and they've been using the taxpayers' money to go and start this project, and they've been stealing. And we as parents, we can ask how, what? And then our youths, they are well educated, only that most of them don't have jobs. Then they can start to show us where are those projects, and this where we are now. Where are those projects? Because those of you that follow the news, it's very, very shocking, and it's so annoying to hear the kind of lies we've been lied to. We as Kenyan, if you're a Kenyan wherever you are, you should feel the pain. You should feel the pain. You should feel the pinch to be lied to. That our taxpayers' money have been doing this and this and that. They've been borrowing a lot of, Kenya has a lot of loans that we all should pay as Kenyans. And we don't see where all that money went to. Or the trillions that we owe to China, to IMF, to Europe, to call it them. We owe so much money as Kenya, and we don't see. All that money was given, okay? What did it do? Just build express highway, SGR. What else did all our money do? It's so many trillions that we Kenyans, we should be asking ourselves. And now where all these, some of the fake projects are, our Kenyan youths, the Gen Zs, they are already showing us that all that was said all the times, it was like stealing public funds. Because there are these three words which are going on, which we should be screaming whenever we hear that. Tumetenga, tumepanga, tumeweka. Just like we know that President Ruto goes everywhere he goes. Those are the three words he uses. Promises, fake promises. With President Ruto, he speaks. With the other presidents, they would never used to use these three words, but they did the same as well. They went and borrowed a lot of money, trillions and trillions, and we can't count for that money as Kenyans. They built their own, whatever they build, hotels and big, whatever they do with the money that they borrow on behalf of Kenyans. It's crazy. We all know that, like now, President Ruto in China borrowing 40 billions. And we Kenyans, we cannot even pay the loans that we already have. It's high time. We are Kenyans. We say we don't want new projects. All Kenyans should shout and say we don't want new projects, because it will also be stolen money. Why you can't even, the money you correct now, we know that you have to pay loans, because with President Uhuru, we also don't know where he took all the money. He took all the loans. We also don't know. It's very crazy, because for us Kenyans, we are all worried. I was watching today a little bit news here and there, and I could see some of the fake projects. And it's shocking. Last time when I was here live, I think it was Friday, I also spoke a little bit of some of the fake projects. And now we are continuing, because our Kenyan youths are going, they are fishing all where those fake projects are. And we all have to scream and shout so that everybody got to know that there are, and there have been, and there will still be fake projects. Number one, I was watching this about a dispensary which is in Machakos called Makakoi or something like that. It's shocking, because actually the guy that was showing us this, people are saying it's a student of Murara Keboso, which we know that he is one of our Kenyan heroes. He's going to the ground and he's doing such a great job. And may God protect our youths. They're doing such a great job. Unbelievable. Because they're bringing to us everything that was being hidden from Kenyan people. This Makakoi dispensary, Kalama ward, it's in Machakos, and it's a small dispensary, but this is crazy. All the money that was put there, 4.3 million or something like that, the only thing that was done on that dispensary, look, my fingers, 4 new iron sheet you put up on the rooftop. 4, not even the whole of it, 4, because the others are still old. Just 4. And then they even only painted the door, new paint, but the same old door. And then they built a toilet there on the corner somewhere. 4.3? Are you kidding, Kenyan people? It's so sad. This is not right. This is not okay, because they think that Kenyans are stupid. The government never thought that there will come a time that our Kenyan youths are so courageous that they would go make videos, make photos, come live and show us. No wonder during Moi regime, all these online things, they were not there. Because then with Moi regime, they could hide everything. They could tell Kenyans anything. You could not prove what they're saying if it's true or not. Nothing. Let's continue with this. It's crazy. In Homa Bay, there is this road. Can you imagine? 3 billion was spent. 3 billion Kenya shilling. And the road, we can say there is no road, because it's all dirt road. But all the money is gone. 3 billion. You know, these are just a few examples. Because with this, like with Hamabi, it was Marara Kebaso who was showing us. Again, fake project. Because if you watch on that road, which is like, it was launched by President Ruto in 2023, 7th October, and 3 billion already spent. You can count on that money, but the money is gone. The money is gone. Let's continue. They also showed us in Kisii County, South Mururingo, or whatever, there's a soapstone. You know, when I watch that, I had tears in my eyes, because the people working there, they even don't have good gears to protect themselves. All nice gloves in their hands. Nothing. And then there's like, they were even saying they don't have even the right tools. Dig out those stones. And then they also say even the little they get, it's a problem even to transport it, poor transportation, poor roads. And then we ask ourselves, wait a minute. Now, President Ruto is going again to borrow new billions, 40 billion in China. Who will ever pay all this money? Because that money will also be stolen, just like all this other money have been stolen. And the people who are around President Ruto, like this in South Muroringo, that's Osoro's home, who is very close to President Ruto. He can't make noise. He can't tell him, wait a minute, this project in my home area or in my area has bad markets, bad transportation. You know, it's crazy. It seems like the people around President Ruto, they don't tell him the truth. Could be they're some of the beneficiaries of all the all the rotting, all the stolen money that is going all direction. Maybe they're some of the beneficiaries. That's why they can't open their mouth and say anything, because they should be very angry. We also saw this, which is very, very heartbreaking, with Nithi Bridge. Again, we lost 12 lives. Again. They're all gone. And that bridge, I do remember when with the other accidents, the President Ruto had promised that that bridge would be rebuilt and nice and everything to at least save the people. There we are again. A lot of people injured and 12 passed away. Fake promise again. I think if you're a Kenyan, whether back home or outside in the diaspora, and you're not angry, you don't love our motherland. If you're a Kenyan and you're not listening to our Kenyan youths, you're blaming them when you hear they're going out to the streets. You don't love our motherland. Because if you do, give them your ear. Ask questions. Ask our youths. Why are you angry? What has happened? Who has done it? Where was it done? Because our Kenyan youths, they're showing us. They are going and saying, wait a minute, they've been stealing east, west, northwest, all around the public funds in Kenya. When it comes to our youths not having jobs, we see them on the streets, we see them shopping centers just hanging. They're idle because they were promised to study hard, which they did. They went to colleges, they went to universities, they got diplomas, they got degrees. But those papers, those documents that they work so hard to get are rotting in their homes. And they have no jobs. So we as Kenyan parents, we should really get angry. We should not start to continue with this fear, because that's what was put in from the time of Mzee Kenyatta. People are put fear in Kenya that they cannot talk. You cannot open your mouth because you'll be assassinated, you'll be abducted. I think in 2024, Kenyans should know their rights. Kenyans should know that Kenya belongs to all of us. Whether you are back in Kenya, whether you are outside Kenya, Kenya is our motherland. And we should continue to watch what the government is doing, because they've fooled and lied way too long. Someone can think, oh, you're now targeting President Ruto. No, it's, this anger has been building for years and years and years. Of course, now President Ruto is the one sitting on it. Of course, he has to face it because he's the one now who is the president. But this anger is from years and years and years back. It's things that has been done over years with all the governments that have been in Kenya. Because our Kenyan people continue to be poor. I think now our Kenyan people, because we are so many millions in Kenya, maybe 50 or 52 millions, I think, now. There's so much poverty, while our land is fertile, while our land has so many minerals, while our land has so beautiful nature that tourists love to come and watch the wildlife. But what do the governments do? They just keep care about rebuilding the nice hotels for the tourists, of course, which the money they pocket themselves. Most of these hotels belong to them. We call them them. If they build such hotels with Kenyan taxpayers' money, those hotels should not be named after their names. Those hotels should belong to each and every Kenyan because we are the taxpayers. But most of them, they make them their own personal properties with stolen money. And when some of you hear our youths are so angry, when you hear that our Kenyan youths don't want to anything with the government, you think that they are crazy. Let us reason together, because Kenyan parents, it seems like most of them, they still have this fear which was installed in them. I see Cherry Jamas. Thank you for coming. Welcome. You know, it's so crazy because when I just think about it, having born in the early 70s, and that my parents, they are now late. But when I do remember as a child that they were always angry, always, they were angry, of course, because of what was going on, but they could not talk because they were scared. They were afraid. So most of them, they lived in fear. And so when we grew up, we knew that, oh my God, government, when you hear someone is a government official, it was like God. You could not question anything. They were stealing, they were doing all sorts of things, and nobody could ask anything from them. Sometimes I ask myself, this can't be real, because I come from Lower Kabete, and can you imagine? I've lived 30 years in the West, and every time I go back to my village, the same dirty roads I left when I grew up there, they are the same roads they are today, 30 years later. So it means, and I think so, when I'm leaving the Western countries and going back home to Kenya, I'll meet the same roads just like I left. This is heartbreaking. And in my village, very active, very, very hardworking farmers. I come from, most of my area, we are the ones who feed Nairobi. In Wakabete areas, we have very fertile land. All these skuma wikis and cabbages and onion, tomatoes, call them, name them. They are all grown in my village. So my village is full of farmers, very hardworking. They wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, you're already meeting people going to the shambas every day, apart from Sundays. Very hardworking people. And then, still their roads, after so many years, me having stayed in the Western countries, when I go back home, the roads are still the roads I left. No tarmac on them. Nobody cares about them. Why? Why has this to be like that? Why can't, because if, for example, the governors, if it's the responsibilities of governors, after they get money to make sure this and these roads are made, it could be those governors pocket their money, they steal the money themselves. But why are there are never charges? Because when you go to judiciary, even when they have cases, they go there, their evidence says that they have stolen, but there they are let free, or their cases are pushed years and years and years. When we talk about all these things, and I hear me as parent of the Gen Zs, because my daughter, she's 28, although she's German, she lives in Germany, but I have my nephews, nieces, that age as well, around that age. And it's heartbreaking just to imagine what kind of future do the Kenyan youths have, because they don't seem to have any future. Because it's like after they finish colleges or universities, some of them have to look for themselves how to survive. It's like nobody in the Kenyan government ever cared about the normal mwananchi. For them, it's just themselves, their families, their close friends, and that's it. About you and me as Kenyan, we are on our own. And that's why I always say, voting is very important, because during the elections, That's the only time. That's the only time that we are able to send all these oppressors out of office. But if you're there and you don't vote, I understand you're angry, and I understand that. But if you don't and they get more votes, then they win again. Then they continue stealing. And that's why I'm asking all Kenyan parents, if you have a Gen Z somewhere, if you are a mother, a father, auntie, uncle, grandmother, grandfather of a Gen Z, please give them your ear. Listen to them. Listen, why are they angry? They can show you nowadays. Most of our youths, those that have telephones, they just have to go online and they can see all the news. For example, with all these fake projects, you just have to go online and you can show, you as a youth. Also, don't ignore so much the parents. Make them to listen to you. I do understand that some parents can be very difficult, but if you talk nicely with them, with respect, tell them, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, auntie, hey, uncle, look how much we've been lied to. Look at this project. So much money have been lost. Look what was done. Show them something like, like with this dispensary in Machakos. That's heartbreaking. All Kenyans should see this. This is crazy. Somewhere, somebody just go with no shame. Just put 4 new mabatis, iron sheets on top, build a toilet somewhere, paint an old door, and takes the rest money. Something that maybe we can say, if was spent too much money, maybe 10,000 Kenya shilling or 15, or even give it more, 20,000 Kenya shilling was spent. All the other millions gone. And we have to be quiet as Kenyans. Don't be quiet. If you're a Kenyan, make noise. If you're a Kenyan and our Gen Zs, how I pray that many of you will continue to show us all these fake projects from the area you are from. I am from Lower Kabete. I'm still waiting to see some of the Gen Zs in Lower Kabete will show us if there's any installed project. Come up and show us. I just do remember there was a time there was a noise because there used to be a road which was made for years and years and years around Wangige. Wangige is nearby our home there in Gikundi and stuff like that. And that road was years and years being done, I don't know what. And, it was somehow messy. And I also do remember when one time they built the new Wangige market. That market should be even be better looking than it is because so much money was put in it. But when it's raining, a lot of people struggle there because somebody thought, wait a minute, I'll just spend a little bit money, the rest I pocket myself. Why are they taking all this stolen money? I ask myself, don't our Kenyan government officials fear God? Don't they fear God? Don't they know there is God who sees them? Because it seems like they don't cares. They don't cares, they don't fear God, and that's why they continue stealing with no heart, with no mercy. Because if you're somebody who have a heart, you could think, wait a minute, these people have chosen me. I believe in God. Let me work for the people. Let me do the right thing. But there they are. Their work in the government is to steal and steal and steal with no shame. That is their work. So it has come a time now that Kenyan parents, you should stop to fear. Remove the fear out of you, out of your minds, out of your hearts. For all those years, I think it was 25 or 26 years that Moi ruled us. It was horrific. Thank God that today you can't hear the name Moi anywhere. But They still have most of what was stolen. But because there is God up there, their children, the generations to come, would end well. Look at the first president, Kenyatta. There's so much they also stole from our Kenyan people. That's why as well, their children, the generation to come, they won't have it well. They can be today. Maybe someone can think, oh, they're so rich. Maybe they don't even sleep. Maybe they have sleepless nights. Because if there's something bad you can do as a leader is to steal, to lie to the people who have put you in that position. And then there's God's punishment. Because if you watch with all these fake projects, when I watch all this, I get crazy. And then all of a sudden, our President Ruto is now in China borrowing 40 billion. Who will ever pay 40 billions? Kenyan people should make noise. Kenyan people should tell China, if you give them money, we Kenyan people, we have nothing to do with it. You give President Ruto as his private money, not as Kenyan president. Because who will ever pay all this money? And all the other projects, they are installed. No one is doing anything. We've seen a lot of examples here, as I've read some of them. And there are many, many others projects. Thousands of projects. Fake projects. Ghost projects. That tumetenga, tumepanga, tumeweka. Those three words. That's what we are full. We Kenyans. It's like President Ruto found a way to fool Kenyans. You hear those names, so you think, oh my God, our area is getting new roads. Our area is getting new dispensary. Oh, our area is getting this and that. Forget it. We always say in English, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. Because when we are told, this and these billions, oh, you'll be built a new what? Hey, I showed you on Friday with also these stadiums. Also fake projects. Money gone. No stadiums anywhere. You saw last time there were goats and sheep grazing on a stadium. And imagine if we don't have these courageous youths, Gen Zs like this Morara, Kebaso, and now it's coming more of our youths who are showing us that they have a reason to get angry. And not only Kenyan youths, all of us as Kenyans, we should get angry. It cannot be that taxpayers' money will be corrected and stolen right, left, center, and we all behave like it's normal in Kenya. So it means we will not only be owing so many trillions of money, maybe our country will be a history. Because if we owe so much money and we cannot pay the debt, what will happen? Is that some of the reasons already? Our airport, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, going to the Indians. Kenyans are being lied to. They're not being told what kind of deal was done. We heard before about the port in Mombasa. Who knows the truth? Because we are never showed what was signed, what went on, what was signed on the paper. We as Kenyans, it's something that we all should be afraid of. We should all be alert. Kenyan people, you're just joking around. Because it will come a time where we cannot have a country. We don't have a motherland called Kenya because it will be owned by Indians, Chinese, maybe IMF, maybe Europe, if we can't pay their debts. Because most of those politicians, when they steal, they take the money out of Kenya as well. They bring the money out. We hear they hide in several islands. A lot of money blocked. Places like Switzerland, Luxembourg, call it, name it. Because we know the Europeans as well. They can accept your money, yes. Then they come the question, where did you get this money from? And if you're not able to explain, they block it. So we hear there are a lot of money which is blocked in some islands and some countries in Europe from our Kenyan officials. Money they stole from our Kenyan people. While our children are suffering out there on the streets with no jobs. While so many people also in hospitals, no medicines. People are dying because there is no money to buy medicines. Hospitals, no medicines. Only the very first class hospitals where the rich can go. What about the normal mwananchi who can't afford those high class hospitals? And it became a habit that because we have so many poor people in Kenya, when people are sick, the only thing they're left with is to do harambe. It became a habit. And that's why I think this thing with harambe, which Mzee late Kenyatta started, maybe he knew already that he'll be one of those stealing from Kenyan people. So he started this harambe, because it came that even here online, when anybody is coming here online, is borrowing and begging and begging and begging, and you're not handicapped. God has given you 2 eyes, you have a mouth to talk, you have hands, you have legs. Work. Stop borrowing and begging. Because this is a shame that the moment you come, even here online, your only work you can do, oh, can you help me with this? Oh, I need this. Hey, I need that. Begging, begging, begging. Why? I think it's something we as Kenyans, we should all hold a prayer and tell God, God, please, cut this, what was put in us about Harambe from our first president. It's like he cast all our Kenyan people. That even the moment you meet somebody, someone don't know you, in a few minutes, person already borrowing you money. Already, someone you don't know. And we grew up, for example, I do remember me growing up. My parents, especially my mom, my late mom, she always told me and my siblings, stop borrowing. Don't go around begging. We were not even allowed to take presents like money at home. We were not allowed. Even when visitors came, sometimes, we didn't have so many visitors, but sometimes came somebody and maybe want to give a shilling. We were supposed to say, no, thank you. That's how I grew up. But here we are. Because from the first president, it's harambe, harambe, harambe. That's what rings in our Kenyan people. It's sad. We also see, for example, when people pass away, even people who are well up, people who are able themselves, without disturbing other Kenyans, about mchango, to be able to give a sedo for their loved ones. They still come here and start to borrow. They start to beg. They start to disturb. Why? People who are able, if God has blessed you and you're able to cater for a hospital bill, or even a funeral for your loved one. Do it without coming here online and disturbing our Kenyan people. It's too much. You know, I think it's something which was put in us here mentally, and it's something we Kenyans should pray about so that this begging and stuff like that can end. Because it started with the politicians. Even the politicians themselves, they have a lot of money in their banks. But if something happens, they also come and start to say, Mchango, hey, we are organizing, I don't know what. You come, we contribute so that we. Why? Just have mercy on our Kenyan people. Our Kenyan people are struggling. They're working so hard to even put a plate of food on the table. There is someone coming who is someone who is well up and start borrowing and begging. Is wrong. It's not okay. You know, when I watch all what's going on in Kenya, I think when we stay silent, the parents of the Gen Zs, when you continue to stay silent, when you continue to have that fear you have, because I know you have, we will not have any country called Kenya in a while. We will not. Because the politicians, they will continue to do what they do. And they've stolen so much. When they see things are going south, they'll just take their family members and their close friends and come to the West and join us in the West. That's what's going to happen. Let me see what Charlie is saying. How can these people who received money for projects be taken to court? Is it possible for Gen Z to hire lawyers to investigate project managers and file corruption charges on behalf of Gen Z? Charlie Dasma saying, to work in a company, you need grade in education, etc. Now political parties present candidates who have criminal charges to election supervising a body and be presented to Kenyans as clean candidates. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's very sad. Charlie saying some cabinet ministers have criminal cases and some had low grades in secondary schools to run a ministry of education or finance, etc. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We also saw now, I think Mukherjee is, for example, right now in sports. Wait a minute. Really? Before he was in transport. Really? But this with sport, that's a joke. That is a joke. Someone who've never, it's crazy. But I think the reason why they're given all these positions, these CSs and whatever, and all these, it's because they can be told what to do. So it's like the positions, it will be Ruto can tell all these others what to do, and Raila can tell his 4 CSs what to do. So it's like they divide the government half, Ruto and Raila, full stop. We, the rest, the Kenyans, we have to jipange. That's what they say. They don't care. They don't care. So if you're there, if you're Kenyan and you think things are okay in Kenya, they are not. I think even things will get even more worse, because right now will be even more. If Ruto gets this 40 billion, we are again raising the credits in Kenya, and we know very well we are never able to pay. We just pay even the interest. Just like someone was suggesting that we should, all of us Kenyans, make noise. We should say we want at KICC. They can display there. They can always be showing us, wait a minute, right now we owe this money and this has been paid, and we all Kenyans, we have to say, you know what, we don't want new projects. All Kenyans should scream and say, we don't want new projects, because the moment you accept, you clap your hands, President Ruto saying, oh, nimetenga, nimepanga, nimeweka this and these billions for I don't know what university there. A lot of our money, taxpayers' money, Kenya taxpayers' money will be stolen there, because that's how it's been going. So don't think there will be any change. There will not be any change in Kenya. These things will continue. because they've always been done that way by the government before. So President Ruto is carrying on what was done by Uhuru, what was done by Kibaki. Kibaki was a little bit better, but what was done by Moi and what was done by late Mzee Kenyatta. President Ruto is carrying on to do that because that has been the style. That's what has been going on. So we Kenyans, we are on our own. Our Kenyan Gen Zs, Millennium, you are on your own. But I thank God that you have the courage to stand up and say, you know what, this is not right. This has to stop. Look how hardworking people are in Kenya, but they are so poor. How? You know that even in places where they're rich with coffee and tea, most of them, they gave up in Muranga areas and stuff like that. I see you, Joyce. Thank you for coming. Welcome. You know, in Muranga area, for example, people gave up there. They started to tear up their coffee and tea, and they started to plant maize and I don't know what. My late grandfather from my mom's side, you know, in Muranga area, he had a lot of coffee and tea in Muranga. And I do remember a few years, I heard that they are unplanting some of those coffees and stuff like that because they were working so hard and they were getting peanuts money. So they were like uprooting some of the coffee and planting other stuff because they were like, we work like donkeys and we are getting peanuts money. And I can tell you, Kenyan people, I wish you all would know how expensive tea and coffee are in the West countries. I lived 15 years in Germany and 15 years in Sweden. A packet of coffee, you know, it's not that cheap. And when you compare what our Kenyans are getting, those hardworking farmers, I shed tears. When you imagine how hardworking they are, they wake up so early, they spend days and days, even lunch. Most of them, they take maybe ugali or githeri with them. During lunch hour, they can eat quickly, cold food, because some of them can't even afford to have thermos to carry warm food. They eat quick, they continue with the coffee or tea, harvesting, you know, so many hours a day. And then in return, they're getting peanuts. It's heartbreaking. I think it's high time we Kenyans, we say, they've used us enough. And it's high time we say no to this. They've done all this, but you know what? When we as Kenyan people, we stand up and we say this is a little bit too much. We will not play in this. We will not dwell in this. We will not accept this. Then they will know that Kenyans are serious. But the moment, for example, we parents of the Gen Zs and millennials, we are ignoring them. We are not supporting them. We are not listening to why they are so angry. We are just turning a deaf ear. We are putting fear. Tigana na do akiria metakwake. Tigana na do government. But who will save our nation? Who is there to save our country? Because in a few years, we will not have any country in Kenya. That's why, for example, there are already discussions about the mountain, if it can be divided into two. Because also disagreements. And that's what some of the officials want. Because for them, they've already stolen enough. They have nothing to lose, you know? They have nothing to lose. They don't care if you divide it into 2, into 4 pieces. They don't care. For them, they have stolen so much. For them and the generations to come, they will never die of hunger. You know, when we hear all these things, I ask myself, who will save Kenya? And I also ask myself, where are we safe as Kenyans? You know, when you watch the governments harassing Kenyan people, then there are other criminals, the church. Those are even more criminals than anything else. Because even the rest that is left after the government have taken everything from the Kenyans, the rest that is left, where does it go? To the criminals in churches. They go there, instead of preaching the word of God, they are busy giving envelopes. Envelopes. Hey, put money, we pray, I don't know for who. And that's why I say we Kenyan people, we have to stop to be stupid. Because up to today, if you're there and you're agreeing to take envelopes, that you're being told, put money, I don't know, you've been cast in your family, put money there so we can pray and remove curses. Hey, put money so that I don't know for who, for girls, for boys, for who, I don't know what. And you're doing that. Please, wake up. Don't allow yourself to be fooled anymore. This is too much. You know, sometimes when I hear that up to today, there are so many Kenyans who are still buying these fake stories from the preachers in churches, bishops or priests or whatever they call themselves, prophets. You still believe that shenanigans. We are in 2024. Wake up. Just know that they are just on business. You can pray in your homes and God can answer your prayer. I've been praying since 30 years here at home. I don't go to any church since I left Kenya. And God hears my prayers. Just do the right thing. Read the Bible yourself. Read the commandments, what God says. God say, you know, if you can read the Bible yourself, if you don't have a Bible, the book, you have a telephone. Nowadays, hey, with the telephone, you can read the Bible. You can hear what God wants from us. Whatever you need, pray, look up, tell God, God, only you can do this and this for me. You don't need any bishop or priest, pastor, prophet to put hands on you, because you don't know what those people do in their private lives. Maybe you are even more clean in the eyes of God more than them. That's why you should not allow just anybody to come and put hands and I don't know what on you. Don't. You can even put yourself in trouble by allowing people to put hands on you or in your family or on your children. God hear prayers wherever you are. The church itself, that's just a building. Church is in your heart. Goroine aku, that's where the church is. Church is not just the building, you know, that's building there. That's what people give it the name church. But in real, church is in here. Who are you? How do you treat people? Are you kind? Do you go around abusing other people? Do you go around lying other people? Do you steal? Do you lie? Do you worship other idols? Do you worship other gods? You know, all those things, those are things that you yourself, you can ask yourself, and you don't need to go to that building. The moment you go to those churches, they start to ask you for money. Money that you've worked so hard. Money that you should be saving for your children or your great-grandchildren. Money that you yourself should be doing your things in. You're going giving away. And that's why you see most of these church people in Kenya, they live in big houses. They drive big cars from your money, while you yourself, you even don't have a bicycle. Even a bicycle you don't have. And you're going giving, even if it's 10 shilling or 5 shilling, you're going giving that what you have to them. Them that have big nice houses, them that drive big cars, them that their children are in high schools, you know, schools that are for rich people. And you yourself, you are struggling to put a plate of food on the table, and someone brainwashed you. Someone told you, hey, the more you give, the more you get. Hey, when you give, listen, these shenanigans of 10%, we've talked it and we'll continue to say it. Don't believe in it. You know, in the Old Testament, I already talked that many months ago, that it was when those years, there was no Jesus. Jesus was not yet here. So it was the time in the Old Testament that when after the harvest, they could take, if they have harvested a lot of maize or beans or potatoes or whatever, they could come with a few sacks somewhere, ask for to say thank you. And then the people who had not so good harvested, they were given that. That was that with 10%. It was not today in 2024 that when you earn $1 million, you have to take 10%. I don't know to charge to who. It's just business there. You have to wake up. If you want to help somebody, you can take some of the children who don't have parents, orphans, educate some of them. You can give food to street children, like most of us do. But don't be fooled and lied and going to church and giving 10%. The stupidness. You know, when I hear that there are still people today doing that, I'm shocked. So it's first the government stealing from us as Kenyans, and then the church. Where are you safe? And that's why I say you yourself, just sit and ask yourself, are you okay here? Because God gave us brain to think. God did not give us brain for decoration. He gave us brain to use it. Think, reason out. Use that organ brain that God gave to each and of us. Everybody, each and everybody have a brain. Use it wisely. Don't just be brainwashed and told stories and you believe in those shenanigan stories. Because some of you, when you listen and you believe all those things, that's why for the rest of your lives, you will work and work and work. You will never come up. You know, born poor, in poor background, is not our fault. We didn't choose that. But we can change the things by using the brain better. Trying to think, okay, let me start this and this business. But I'm not going to take my money to any church or to anybody. You know, some of these things, I think they're logic thinking. And that's why I say it's very good. We Kenyan people, start to read the Bible yourself. Don't let anybody read for you. You know, it's like in the government. They've been fooling all Kenyan people because they used to read the Katiba for us. They used to translate, or even they used to ignore. That's why a lot of Kenyans, you never knew what was going on. You know, like with these project stories, this is shocking. And I think more shocking stories are coming because our Kenyan youth, the Gen Zs, the millennials, they are going out there in their villages, in their towns, and they're gonna expose all the fake projects. From the times of Kenyatta, we are on it. We are waiting. All those things that were promised to Kenyans, and they were just lies. We are on it. Our Gen Z millennium, they're bringing it for us. Thank God to internet. We thank God because all these things would never have come to light. Anyway, what can I say? We'll continue to make noise. We'll continue to scream. And let's support our Kenyan youths, our Gen Z millenniums. As parents in Kenya, let us give them our ears. Let's listen so that we can try to save our motherland, our nation. Yes, let me see before our wait up. Joyce is saying hi, NCK and chats. Yes, third, amen. Yeah, Joyce, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I thank you all so much for always giving me your time. I really do appreciate. And I see I have to make this announcement before I wind up, because it's let me see, I don't know what is his name. There's someone who always send me on my email something about that he would help me to grow my channel, that if I could start, I don't see where he wrote that, but he had written anyway an email that, and he's written me so many Robert Quincy, or what is called, yeah, all these offers you offer to me, and this and this and that. I really feel comfortable with how I send this. I'm not in a hurry in growing YouTube, so it's okay, because I don't believe in bribing. I don't. In my life, bribing is not my cup of tea. I don't do that because I'm not corrupt. I take my time. I'm not in a hurry to grow. So thanks for the offer, but I don't like it. I won't take it. Anyway, I thank you all so much. And please, if you haven't touched the subscribe button, please do that to support me. I'll appreciate. And you can like, comment, and share as well. And we'll catch up again. I'll let you know when I'm going live again. Thank you so much. And may God bless you. And let's continue to pray for our country, Kenya, and our Gen Zs and millennials. We love you. You're doing a great job. Continue to expose the criminals. We need to know who've been stealing from our Kenyan people. We need to know all that they've been hiding from our Kenyan people. And we are together in this. Thank you all so much. We catch up again when I let you know when I'm live again. Thank you and stay blessed. Bye-bye.